Both offenses stalled at the moment. Second stops on the world's most popular motorsports circuit. We'll talk more about this coming up. 3 o'clock Eastern on ABC, 1:30 for pre-race coverage. Speaking of racing, the race for the national championship. These cars jockeying for position here. A couple have had collisions there. Georgia got around the Kentucky obstacle. Ole Miss, boom, slammed right into the Cats here. There's a little bit of overtaking. Georgia spun out. Ooh, Alabama crashed into the Vanderbilt wall and lost again.
Now, what happened tonight? I mean, I would hate to see that car after the Tennessee game. By the way, the cool thing about this 12-team...
Georgia came in, obviously, with a brilliant game plan so far and bad intentions and an incredible first half against an offense that has been blowing people up.
Yeah, and I think the one thing, the caveat that we would talk about is they're blowing people up, but they haven't played a great opponent. They played some good opponents, but not a great opponent. And I knew that Georgia, because all the people talking about, all of us talking about, boy, Georgia's just...
Chris, Capital One halftime report, minutes away. Dan Orlovsky, Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagandi here. This score, wow, 20-0. You've been talking about Georgia's defense all day. What do you see?
Georgia's defense felt disrespected, and they're dominating the line of scrimmage. Kirby has a game plan. Quinn Ewers is seeing ghosts right now.
Yeah, this is very simple. Steve Sarkisian needs to turn to Arch Manning right now.
Well, you got your wish. Quinn Ewers is on the sidelines, and Arch Manning is in.
It's Arch time.
Chris, Kirk, take it away.
You're all over. We have to wonder, was that a series to let Ewers take a breather on the sideline, check it out, or does he stay with Arch Manning from here on?
Yeah, well, I think you got to give another series. If you make that move, you can't just give him one.
Sunday NFL Countdown, Week 7, setting the table. Saquon Barkley with an interview before he goes back to the Meadowlands as a member of the Eagles. Tennis bringing out the sledgehammers, pounding Texas's offense. 38 total yards. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit back with you. Longhorns have the football, and Quinn Ewers is back at quarterback. Your reaction to Sarkisian's decision to go back with the veteran?
Oh, we were talking at the break about which quarterback do you go with, and I did say go back to Quinn Ewers. And face it, this is not a quarterback. One's good and one's bad. This is about an offensive line that's getting whipped by Georgia's defensive front. So the message is go back.
Chris, Kirk, time now for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update. Number 97, UCF.
Georgia instead back up 15, 12:04 to play.
Is on Capital One Entertainment. Scan the code on your screen to learn more. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
I'm Caesar here in Austin. What's the All-State good hands play so far this weekend?
Got to go to Knoxville, Tennessee and Alabama. What a game. Down the stretch, a little under 6 minutes to go. Nico with a great throw to Brazil. They go up. And then it's about Jalen Milroe. Minute and a half to go, trying to make something happen. And it's picked off by Tennessee to secure a victory. And they're going crazy in Neyland Stadium.
Play is Texas desperate to cut into this 15-point margin. 10.5 to play. Firing the cannon through a Beck jersey. Seconds on the drive. Longhorns get the football back. Down 15. Well, Texas cut in third down coming up. Verbo brings you the college football rankings. Penn State and Ohio State off. They'll collide soon coming up in Happy Valley.
Question is, Chris, where will Georgia go, after this win against number 1?
Does Big Ten go 1, 2, 3? With the two idle teams moving up behind Oregon.
Miami, nice win in a shootout today against Louisville. There's LSU hovering. People forget about them. Iowa State trailing right now to UC.
You guys talked about it. Time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field, and here are the pictures. 7-0, 30.
Conference play. Look at this. A&M 4-0. LSU still unbeaten. They play together next week. What a game that is at Kyle Field. And then look at these teams with one loss.
Yeah, the usual suspects, Tennessee, Texas, Missouri, Vanderbilt, at 2-1. It's going to be a wild race. It's going to come down to a battle that Kirby Smart loves. What a satisfying win, you can tell, for his program.
Nothing is more dangerous than a motivated, angry football team. And you just knew, not just college.
Your network doubted him, Kirk.
I didn't make a pick. But everybody, I believe, on College Game Day picked Texas. Yeah. There was all week talking about Texas. What we were reminded tonight as a sport is Georgia, despite what happened in Tuscaloosa, is still Georgia. They still recruit. They still develop. They still have incredible pride, and they felt slighted. And when you make a football team collectively feel slighted, they're going to bring the fastball, and that's what they did. They played with a chip on their shoulder, and we learned tonight when they play like that, it'd be a hard team to knock out.
Been a long time since they've been underdogs. I don't think they really needed picks against them on College Game Day to get motivated. They know how to do that well.
You know how that
it was in play.
Yeah, it was in play. Pat's singing.